Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, California Weather Watch. Today is October 16th, and right now we are looking at the Doppler radar for Northern California here. You can see some moderate rainfall moving onshore. This is not expected to get down towards the Bay Area or Sacramento and bring measurable precipitation, but we will take a look at what kind of totals it will bring from some portions of Northern California here. And we're going to start to warm things up across much of the state here as we go through this upcoming week. Then we turn our eyes to an interesting extended forecast. The GFS and the European both showing some interesting troughing here, dropping down across much of the state of California. We'll dive into that in some detail as we go through the video today. Taking a wider look at the infrared satellite imagery, you can see the storm system rolling into Northern California as we speak. You can see the tropical cyclone development likely down here off the coast of Mexico. And if we look at that, you can see they now put it at 80% here. And yeah, we'll continue to watch this here. We'll just always watch these tropical systems down here to make sure there is no chance of that moving up across the southwest, because those can be high impact events. Right now, we're not expecting any remnant moisture to move up across California at this point, but we will continue to watch that. Now, looking at the visible satellite imagery, you can see some of the eddy action down there across Southern California, but nice glorious sunshine across much California, Nevada, Arizona, and Utah this morning. But once you get up towards Northern California, of course, you got the frontal system pushing its way through the area. You can see some of those mid and high level clouds approaching the Bay Area as we speak as well. This is the precipitation forecast. As you can see, Fort Bragg supposed to get some measurable precip, maybe a tenth to a quarter of an inch there, but nothing for San Francisco or Sacramento. Heck, even Red Bluff and Redding largely skunked out of the system, but you can see Eureka maybe up towards a half an inch there as well. Nice graphic here from the National Weather Service Sacramento. Here's some high temperature outlook here as we go through this portion of the week coming up here. You know, some fairly warm temperatures rolling up on in through here. This was issued yesterday afternoon, and we'll show you the national blend of models here as we go. And this is much warmer Wednesday and Thursday here. You can see some of these temperatures getting back into the 90s here for some of the valley areas. Look at Death Valley back up to 106 here by the time you get to Thursday. However, then we have a cooling trend coming this weekend here, Saturday and Sunday, even cooling back down only into the 70s for some of the valley. Look at Death Valley all the way down to 95 there. Get out your parkas there out in the valley. Taking a look at the well above normal temperatures through this week here for Phoenix, Arizona, potentially hitting some record high temperatures here as well. You can see Monday today likely to break the all-time record high for the day, possibly Thursday as well. And you can see getting pretty close other days all the way towards this weekend here coming up. This day in SoCal weather history here, so check it out. For the second year in a row, rain was completely absent in San Diego during the summer season. Let me click back on that here, but yeah, interesting stuff. You can get pretty darn right dry here across the summer areas here. In 2004 was the record streak of 182 days with no precipitation. Luckily not dealing with that this time of year. And looking at Palm Springs, for example, kind of looking at what's been going on during the month of October, you can see we've had periods of below and above average here, but kind of a mixed bag. Definitely no heat wave going on across much of the state of California, except for that period of time where we were kind of right at the beginning of October. We had some warm temperatures, especially out towards the coastline there. But for the most part, the state has not been above average. A lot of places have been below average here. And taking a look here at South Lake Tahoe, warming up nicely over the next few days, the last few days. You can see 53 on the 11th, and now back up to 71 here. Still some chilly overnight lows there. Low got down to 30 yesterday. Now, looking at that mean temperature for much of the West, you can see the actual mean temperature for the month of October has been below average across much of Nevada and California, except for some of the coastal areas here. They got the Santa Ana winds and the offshore winds, and we had the Bay Area with 90-degree days there, 4 of them in a row. But for the most part, there has not been an above average month of October for California. Now, looking at the GFS, let's take a look off into the forecast a little bit here. This is a 12Z. It's running. It's hot off the presses. It's running as we speak. And watch this ridging kind of build up here. And we are going to warm up across much of the region here as we go through the mid and later portion of this week. However, this ridge kicks off as we go towards the weekend and we start to bring a trough in here. And the National Weather Service Hanford was talking about this, dropping these temperatures back down. And some interesting systems starting to show up here as we go through October. And look at some of this troughing just opening up right along the west coast. I'll back that up here. And that would bring some precip all the way down to Southern California here as well by October 24th. So definitely something to watch in our extended forecast. And also looking at 2-meter temperature anomaly. This gives you a good idea of that we're going to be above normal here as we go through Thursday now. Now we're on into Friday. Some pretty above normal conditions across much of the Southwest here, including the entire state of California. But then you can see the cool down starting to work its way back in here on the 22nd, 23rd, and check out some of these temperatures here as we go into October 25th. I mean, we're really going to cool things down. At least that's what it looks like here on some of the model runs incoming. We'll also take a look at what the European has to say about this in a moment. But look at some of these temperatures here Saturday, October 27th towards the 28th time period here. Now looking at daily 2-meter max temperature. So you got Arizona, California, and Nevada here. There's the valley, there's the coastal regions, there's Northern California up there. Put that into motion and you can see the warm up occurring. You're getting some 90s returning by Thursday, as we mentioned, for some of the valley areas here. Pretty darn warm across much of the region here, including some of the deserts. And then as we go through Friday, and look at by the time we get towards Saturday, you notice that cool down occurring. We're back down into the 70s by the time we get towards Sunday here for a lot of the valley areas, Southern California, but still not too bad. Fairly comfortable out there, but definitely no heat wave coming up this weekend here. And as we go through the later portions of October, we look to be below normal temperatures here. And you can see that lower 70s showing up. By the time you get towards Tuesday, look at this, only highs getting into the 60s for a lot of the valleys. The deserts have cooled way off, including portions of Arizona as well. This troughing will cool down much of the Southwest. So we'll be watching that closely. It's still kind of fantasy at this point, but definitely something for us to be looking forward to. Total precipitation in inches. You can see this frontal system as we go through the day today, not bringing too much according to the GFS. The European was a little bit wetter here, but what we're looking at here is we're going to go off into the extended forecast a bit. So as we go through Thursday, there's Friday. Now go to Saturday, you can see a system kind of dropping across the region here. We'll get some troughing. This cools us down, but then we get even a deeper troughing through the extended forecast. You can see it bringing some precipitation even down towards Southern California here as we go through October. So interesting stuff off in the extended, kind of fantasy right now, but definitely something worth watching. Could be high impact if it does come into fruition. This is looking at 500 millibar temperatures here. So I want to show you this ridge building over the area. You can kind of see that clockwise rotation, the ridge building nicely. Definitely going to warm things up, but then this trough's going to start to swing through. You can see the colder air aloft starting to arrive as we go through the weekend here, and then you can see these additional lobes of cooler air moving down over the area, and this one would be, that would be a nice little storm system for some of California here as we go through the end of October. Still fantasy right now. That could easily change as we go, but you can see this very cold air aloft settle down over the Pacific Northwest as we go on into the later portions of October coming up there. So interesting stuff. Something fun to watch. Now let's see what the European has to say about all this. As we go through this week, clearly shows this ridge. I mean, pretty strong ridge here. Going to warm us up significantly through this week, but then it does show this troughing setting up here as we go through the weekend, and it shows some of this colder air moving in aloft. And check out this trough. Pretty good agreement with the GFS as we go through the later portions of October coming up here with a chilly upper level low settling right over California. But again, it's fantasy at this time frame right now. And the 8 to 14 day temperature outlook, as you can see, they're kind of taking into account. They see those troughs coming, so they're leaving things near normal as we go through October 23rd to October 29th. And if that continues to trend, you will see this continue to trend, and you'll see some below average conditions coming up here in this 8 to 14 day forecast over the next few days if those models continue to trend that way. 8 to 14 day precipitation outlook, you can see a lot of the West Coast above average here as we go through the end portion of October. And this is looking at the average departure temperature from average here over the last week. And as you can see, California is kind of a mixed bag, but pretty much average. As you can see, some portions have been substantially below average here actually, and some portions Southern California below average as well. So kind of just pointing that out here. Pacific Northwest actually been above average here for the last week or so. But anyway, yeah, frontal system moving through there. We're going to really warm things up here. Strong ridge setting up shop, but then that troughing looks like it's going to be returning here as we go through the weekend with potentially interesting systems going through the extended forecast. We'll continue to watch that day by day. Hope you guys are liking the channel here. Click like and subscribe. Leave some comments below, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow.